Hello, my name is Shelly Myers, and I'm with the Valley Solutions team at HomeSmart. And this video is video number 3 in my new construction YouTube video series. And so far, if you haven't watched video number 1 or video number 2, what we talked about is the very basic. In video number 1, the very basic question was, is new construction a good option for me as a home buyer? And then in video number 2, we talked about what should we be asking when we're looking at different builders in the Phoenix Valley. Well, and even if you're not in Phoenix, you're in anywhere, these are still very good videos for you to consider and very good questions for you to consider as you are making that big purchase or deciding on what you want to do. Today, we're going to talk about selecting your options. And I say this knowing that with a little caveat or a little disclaimer is that not every builder allows you to select options. Depends on the builder, depends on your price point. If you're a luxury builder, if you're working with a luxury builder, if you're on the luxury price point, totally different. If you're more on the more inexpensive build or the lower cost, I don't know, it's still a lot of money to build a house and to buy a house. But if you're in a house that's perhaps maybe under $500,000 in the Phoenix Valley, you may be working with a builder that's not going to allow you to select a lot of options. They're going to give you a package, an option package. And that means they've selected your tile. They've selected your carpet, if you have carpet. They're going to select the paint on the walls. They're going to select the color of your cabinets. They're going to select the countertops, all of those pieces. So always know that those are good questions to ask. And a lot of times builders, after you go under contract with them, will send you a very blanket email that says, hey, we'll take you into our design studio, 3 months into build, and you can choose your countertops or your cabinets, etc. And not every builder does that. And sometimes, even if the builder does do it, maybe you're purchasing a house that's already under construction, and they may have already ordered appliances, etc. for that home, and they're not making any changes. For the price that you paid, you're not making any changes. So just be aware that that could be a situation that you get into, that not every builder is going to allow for you to select options or to do specific type of what you're going to call upgrades to the house. But if you are working with someone who will allow you to come into that design center and hopefully control yourself and not go crazy, because it can be very expensive when you do that, there's some tips that I'd like you to consider when you are looking at doing that. And I have 4 that are down here right now, and they're off here to the side. So the first one is prepare a budget. Be prepared with what you're willing to spend on any changes or design options within the interior of your home. If they might have design options for the exterior. Make sure you have a budget for that. Maybe your budget's for both, whatever that looks like. Just remember, set that budget and keep that budget in mind the moment you walk in there. Consider the resale value. There's sometimes when we totally love a certain feature in a home and we're like, oh my gosh, I totally want to have that in my next house. Consider the resale value or what that's going to do for the resale of your property. One thing that I'm thinking of specifically, and I'll go back to when my parents were making some updates to their house, was they wanted to add one of those walk-in tubs. where you can sit down in it, you know, and it comes up to here. You see the ads for it. And they wanted to add one of those to their bathroom, to their primary bathroom. And they already had a regular, they had a bathroom, a guest bathroom that had a regular tub in it where you step in tub. And I said to them, and they were not living in a 55 plus community, not a retirement adult, active adult community, anything like that. And I asked them to consider what this is going to do for the resale of that home, because the next buyer, it was in just an average residential neighborhood, may not want a walk-in tub, a sit-down walk-in tub. And that may change their interest in this house, because if they're not interested in it, they may love everything else about that house, but this house may be at the top of their price point, or maybe they don't want to come into a house and do any upgrades. That's something they don't want to do. And they're going to look at this and say, okay, we walk in, we're going to have to fix that tub. Just the way it is. And that might not be something that they're interested in. So I'm going to use that as an example. And they ended up not doing it. They weren't to a point physically where they felt like they needed that sit down tub. And so they chose not to do that. They're now living in an active adult condo community and do have one, but everyone is of a certain age that lives there. So it's more common to find one of those types of shower tub situations in the community that they're in now, in the building, in the condo that they're in now. So that's what I'm talking about. Just consider, because now what you're doing is when you have something that one may cost a lot of money, you're not going to make back dollar for dollar what upgrade that you've added to that house when you go to resale. So just consider that. You make sure you create that needs and wants list. That kind of goes back to setting that budget. You have to know, and maybe I need to change this around and create that needs and wants list first. And then that will kind of weed out what is a luxury item or an unnecessary item, and then create that budget. But again, making sure that you're not just looking at the model, which has all the bells and whistles, all the upgrades, everything you could possibly want, and everything that anybody could possibly want in a home. And you're obviously not going to get that when you're at a certain base level or when you're just purchasing in that community, because they've added those pieces in there, obviously, to get us in and to make us love what it is that we see and want more and more and more, which ultimately increases the price up, up, up. So just be careful. But also what I'm going to tell you is trust your builder. Like I've said before, or I should say, I have said before, that the builder, the sales rep, is there to represent the builder. And your agent, your realtor, is there to represent your interests. And while I did say, remember that sales rep is there to represent the builder, note that the builder has made certain choices, certain examples into their homes where they have seen, maybe they've seen that in another builder, or seen that in another community that they have done. And it has been a real benefit to the homeowners that are coming in. So trust that some of the pieces that they have fit well within the quote unquote price point or the appraisal value of your property, aren't going to increase your amounts of money crazily, that you're going to be way over budget or not going to be able to afford the home when it comes time to closing, because you've added so many upgrades or so many specific design features. So just note that to kind of trust what some of the design pieces that they put in place. But not to say that you can't make your own changes, but just to be able to be aware of that. So know your needs and wants. create that budget, consider the resale value of any upgrades that you have, and trust your builder in this process. These are my opinion. These are just some suggestions, I should say, that I have, tips for selecting options before you get into that design studio. If you have any questions over checking out new construction, if you would like to go and look at new construction, if you'd like to have a list of new construction communities in the neighborhood, in the Phoenix Valley, just let me know. I'm happy to work with you and help you, and of course to be your representative when it comes to making that choice. It's a lot of fun in new builds. You get to be the first person who's ever walked on those floors or who's ever cooked in that kitchen. You get to be that first person that's in there. You get to be the one that watches the process happen as it goes. And that can be really exciting. That can be really exciting to be doing it. And there's sometimes when a new build works really well for us. And there's sometimes when we think, oh, we don't have the time frame to wait for that. We got to look for a resale home, a pre-existing home. So again, please give me a call. I'm happy to help. Again, my name is Shelly, and I'm with the Valley Solutions team at HomeSmart. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, any of the videos that I have on here. My goal is really to educate the consumer and help the buyer and the seller, because I'll do some seller videos as well here pretty soon, on the process, and be able to be a source of information and education as you move into that. Again, give me a call. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.